Venezuela.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you're enjoying your 3-day weekend, soon to be 2-day weekend. Welcome to Optum HQ, my backyard. This is my second attempt after realizing last night that I can no longer use these as microphones for recording videos. It just does not sound good. And then sometimes it makes this cracking sound. You can't even hear my voice. So I am gonna have to buy a proper mic, but no problem. I mean, I just wasted about 46 minutes of footage that I made last night on this couch for you. I spent 2 hours today trying to fix the sound. I just had to throw it away because it was just, oh well. It was fun. It was fun. You would have liked it. For some reason, this Judge Janine Pirro video, it just inspired me.
This election, a lot of strange things happened, and many of them highly suspicious. For example, Dominion Software.
They have businesses in Venezuela, Caracas. They have businesses in Cuba, and there are also links to China.
A company called Dominion, which they say started in Venezuela with Cuban money and with the assistance of Smartmatics.
She's a smart lady. I do like her. Oh boy. I don't know if I can even talk about the fact that I talked to him. But he's like my producer. He did pay me $5,000 to rewrite my screenplay, which it's like a year and a half late. He represents someone big. We talked for 3 hours on Sunday. We didn't even talk about my screenplay the entire time. I figured he'd want an update. I don't know what's going on there. But he just wanted to know about Optum. He wanted to know, one, how I got all of my footage and how I was able to upload it with the copyright, which is, it's a fair question. It was a lot of work, trial and error, and begging to get it to stay up there. He's a conservative. Surprising, because he works in Hollywood. All he wanted me to do was try to be more likable, try to be more accommodating to Trump supporters. And I do. I want to do that and get them on board with what you're doing. Eventually I will. But I will show them not with words. They don't like all of the fancy words that we use to describe contemporary ideas. They want to be spoken to matter-of-factly. They don't want to be treated like idiots, that's for sure. But I'm going to show you some things tonight. It's just not worth it. That's not what Optum's about. The point of Optum is to gather 1 in 160 Democrats who are willing or able to relocate to low-population states and take over the government. We're not a military, but we are a militia. A militia I will lead, and I don't need Trump supporters for that. You can never fault me for not trying. I've always made efforts to befriend people I disagree with. I used to run Facebook groups with them, in fact. Unfortunately, Trump did break us all apart. I used to run the largest rideshare community on Facebook, Rideshare Drivers International. We were doing good things for all of our drivers. So you couldn't just apply and answer some questions. No, you had to send us an actual screenshot of your driver platform in order to get into the group. The people that I work with tend to think that I belong in charge. I guess I'm a leader. I don't want to jinx it. I have been very happy about President Biden's performance in the last week.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic. MAGA Republicans do not respect the Constitution. They do not believe in the rule of law. They do not recognize the will of the people. They refuse to accept the results of a free election.
A CBS News poll finds more than half of registered Republicans consider themselves part of the MAGA movement.
You can't love your country only when you win.
Or he's just playing politics, but I think he gets it. He can no longer play by neoliberal rules. They don't have rules on the right. They're not playing the same game. And we need to take a page from Trump's playbook. Just because he was evil doesn't mean we shouldn't want to learn from him. But I can play his game better than he can. Imagine what someone could do who isn't an idiot. Oh. Sounds like my frog has come out to say hello. That's sticky. My daughter named him. We can't negotiate with them. I wish we could, but I just wanted to show you some fun Karen stuff that I was enjoying on Nextdoor.com. So now let me switch. God, this is the world's slowest website. This is from Sharm Belohan. She's our local Karen, I guess. I don't know what this district is. I don't even know. Freedom. There's a district called Freedom, apparently. I have never heard of this district. Where is it even at? Let me just take a quick peek before we do that. Freedom.
2,000 years later.
Right next to the freeway. Freedom. Oh, it's right next to Uptown? Oh, come on. So this is this lady. She's angry about the fucking check stands. They're gabbing. These people. Smith's is Kroger and Ralph's. It's the same store. Because it's true. I just fucking hate the automatic machines. I hate them. Self-checkout must be at minimum 3-minute advantage for me to even want to use it. Glad it's so fast for you, not so for others. You're talking about Judy. Oh, she actually walks? Wait. Jesus. You drive to an Albertsons? Smith's is so much better. I've waited much longer for a cashier. Time is money. Scanning and bagging my own items instead of waiting in line for cashier. I'm actually saving time and money. I honestly don't like being in the grocery store any longer than needed. But to each their own. Junine Toledo. Reason it's taking longer is because employers want to cut out paying as many employees as possible. It hurts the economy by killing jobs. If consumers insist on people, businesses will listen. Hire more people, and lines will be better. But you're instead showing your support for the machine, both figuratively and literally. These are me just introducing splashes of proletariat, Vosh communism on these people. I was even in a MAGA group, a MAGA Republican group of like 170 people. I think I'm kicked out now. I did run my mouth on a couple of people that were really dumb. This is the really fun one. The local Karen of the day. Not a wonderful area of town. So, she says, and there's a lot of typos in here, this guy went up to my neighbors across the street and tried to access the water spout when he noticed it didn't have a head on it. So he reached into his backpack and pulled out a pair of pliers. Still wasn't able to get it on. Then he reached in. This is all one sentence. Reached into his backpack again, and it looked like he pulled out a handle and tried again to fit it on top, and that wouldn't work. So he had found at the idea and took off. So she recorded this bum. Looks like he's trying to wash his fucking hands to me. Took pictures of him getting on his bike, making his daring escape. Is it possible he was trying to steal the faucet to sell it? Like, for scrap metal? Is that the issue? He had pliers? I mean, maybe the faucet was difficult to fucking turn. I don't know. You wanted to live in freedom with a barking little pedigree yapper. There's me. Looks to me like he's trying to wash his hands. No, that is not what he was trying to do. And he had a container on the ground that he wanted to fill with water. He wanted to fill it with water.
Ryan, as stated in the earlier comments, some of us experience people leaving our water running and leaving their personal trash just trying to wash their hands. My trash cans are just as easily accessible as my water spigot.
So, I guess I forgot to respond to D. So, Charm, you mean this thief took water enough for both washing his hands and drinking? My goodness, the nerve of these people. So who enjoyed this one? Clearly not D. Martin. Oh my god. These are the people, though. They don't have compassion. They don't care. They don't care about the fact that the earth is fucking melting. I learned something interesting, by the way. Something I should have known.
The Clean Air Act has saved millions of American lives and saved the government trillions of dollars in healthcare costs, economic shocks, and avoided disasters. It is widely considered the most powerful public health law enacted in the 20th century in the United States. Even dipshits trying to attack the EPA end up dunking on themselves. Remember when they spent years telling us to panic over the hole in the ozone layer and then suddenly just stopped talking about it and nobody ever mentioned the ozone layer again? Oh, cool. And just, do you know why you never hear about the hole in the ozone layer anymore? It's because they fucking fixed it! It's because the EPA and the world's governments fixed it! Scientists discovered it, the countries of the world signed the Montreal Protocol.
The Montreal Protocol, unprecedented display of international cooperation to protect the world's environment.
And then they wrote and enforced laws to fix the hole in the ozone layer. My God, Google it! Just Google it one time. Why are you, it's insane. Whatever. If you like it when the air you breathe every day doesn't kill you, you have the overwhelmingly successful EPA to thank and the Clean Air Act of 1970 to flirt with. And they're right over there. Go over there, say something. What's the worst that's gonna happen? Come on, go for it. And it kind of goes without saying, but the reason why individual states had so much trouble regulating air pollution is because the pollution is in the air, and air moves across state lines. I mean, frankly, I'm not even convinced that air pollution knows what state lines are. You see, if you regulate pollution in one state but not another, the polluter can just move to the pollution-friendly state, pollute, and because air can move, both states now have pollution. This is the kind of problem that is best dealt with on a federal level. Or to put it in Minority Report terms,
falls under federal jurisdiction.
Federal jurisdiction. Thank you very much, Colin Farrell. Looking very, very svelte in this. It is the O2 Colin Farrell. So he's, you know, it's not hip to be jacked yet. And I mean, it's all about Hemsworths now, obviously, but it used to be cool to be, you know, kind of a little beanpole.
On to the good stuff that we missed because of mic problems. I did find some really interesting places last night. The important things that we need to remember for Optum is 500,000, guys. This is the minimum. We need 500,000. Anything we get over that is great because the Republicans aren't doing this. In fact, they're moving into 3 states that are already red states. Let them have them.
There is a group of individuals that are moving into the area who they have the intent of turning this into what they call the American Redoubt.
Coined back in 2011 by a Christian survivalist, the American Redoubt, a refuge for self-described God-fearing, liberty-loving patriots. This store opened recently, owned by a pastor who moved up from California. Here's how he described it back in 2015.
If we will put him first, blessed will be the redoubt. By God's grace, we trust that the redoubt, we won't see the homosexuality and rampant lesbianism that we see in California.
There are now so many wannabe redoubters, some realtors cater to them. One has this ad on its website.
In the days of old, the men would lead, women would nurture.
The Aryan nations, for a long time they were headquartered in this part of Idaho, they had a similar plan, but for a whites-only homeland up here. Many locals fought against that. Today, many locals are fighting against the redoubters and the book banners.
They've been going to library board meetings and yelling and screaming at people.
The director just resigned.
Do you feel that you've given in? That you've been defeated here? That
Part of me does, yes. But they start showing up at your house, guns on their hips and Bible tracts in their hands.
Activists demanding that the library ban more than 400 books, like Genderqueer.
Even if we do nothing to you, eventually, if you don't repent of wanting to harm our children with pornography, that's up to God.
Things need to change. Otherwise, you bring curses upon yourselves, period. From the Most High.
Are any of those books in the library?
Not a single one.
Everyone on that side of the argument we reached out to refused to talk to us, but one of them did explain her motivation at a library board meeting. They are now held here because so many people were showing up to the meetings, so many of them were armed, that they moved the library board meetings to a bigger building that is also right next to the sheriff's department.
Here is that one woman's motivation.
My job is to protect our kids from sexual deviants who will be drawn to our library if inappropriate sexual material is on our library shelves and using our kids as prey.
Most folks around here voted for Trump in 2016, even more voted for him in 2020. But
this goes beyond any conservatism and into almost Nazism, where they're trying to force their own ideas and their own religious concepts on everybody else. That's not America.
City Councilwoman Val Thompson's family has been here 5 generations.
One of my friends had somebody tell him the other day that the American Redoubt is here and it might be time for you to exit.
There are politicians like this running and winning.
I'm talking about really raunchy stuff in these kids' books for 7-year-olds. Hopefully you have secured your local elections. You need a good sheriff and you need 3 county commissioners.
There are claims that critical race theory is being taught in schools.
On that list of books that was given to the library, I saw Who Was Frederick Douglass?
Right.
Why is that an issue?
Well, I haven't read Who Was Frederick Douglass, but I'm assuming that there was something in it that was offensive or made somebody feel guilty for being white. I have no idea.
So, green is good, red is bad. This is a crime map. Originally, I was looking at Upper Peninsula, Michigan. After much deliberation, I realized I'm a fucking city boy. This Albuquerque town has always felt really small to me, and it's 560,000 people. There was this one really cool house that I was looking at that was right over here, and it was like 39 minutes away from Marquette. Marquette's the only real town in Upper Peninsula. It's like 66,000 people, so a very small town. And the nearest town other than that is Green Bay. Green Bay is not a big town either. And they said that if you're 20 miles, which that cool property that was on a lake was, you're not getting into Marquette in the winter. Like, you're snowed in for months at a time. I did not think about that. Won't be going to Upper Peninsula on this particular go-around. And here's the compound that I want you to understand why having a real estate agent, you can call me an agent, so integral to Optum. One, I think there's an obvious element. We are relocating people. I'm headhunting for Democrats who can move. If you can't move yourself, you can donate to my Patreon. And the NPO, which once we've set up, is going to move people who don't have the means to move. You can help in many ways. The 3 places that I've been looking at most particularly in recent weeks are Grand Rapids, population 200,000 people on Lake Michigan here. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which is about 400,000 people, and it's not far from Green Bay, and Madison's got a good population, I think around 150 or so. Where I decided I really want to be is Minneapolis. You see, these Great Lakes, they don't just supply 21% of the fresh water that the United States get. They supply 21% fresh water the entire world population gets every year to drink. There may be really bad stuff happening in the near future with regard to climate, but one place that will not be affected in terms of water are the Great Lakes. So I follow real estate. This is actually a good investment to get on the Great Lakes, get out of California. California is going to be amidst a civil war starting with Arizona and Nevada, who have already experienced 21% cuts to their water, and next year are going to go even deeper, but California won't. California has senior rights to those two other lower basin states, but water arrives in Nevada and Arizona before it arrives in California. If you were in Arizona's position, what would you do with the Colorado River? Would you allow that to go downstream to a state that refused to do anything about the drought for an extra year, continuing to garden golf courses in deserts? Or are you gonna dam that shit and keep it for yourself? I've told you before, Los Angeles gets 50% of its drinking water from the Colorado River. San Diego gets 60%. Las Vegas gets 90% of its drinking water. And they've already had to make huge cuts, and deeper cuts will come next year for them. But not California. Just because of the way that it was founded. It was first in time, so it's first in right. There will be big problems in California very soon. Life and death problems. But in terms of real estate values, if you sell now, you'll make a lot of money. If you wait 5 years, it's my belief your house won't be worth dick. When there's people living on your lawn, your neighbors in your HOA are giving you notices about the tents in your yard. You can't get them off your property. And then you have these people, like the one I just showed you, these fucking Karens, filming black people wash their hands. You don't think those people are gonna go fucking apeshit crazy and start shooting like a motherfucking storm?
What you saw happen to us could just as easily happen to any of you who are watching from quiet neighborhoods around our country.
Whether it's the defunding of police, ending cash bail so criminals can be released back out on the streets the same day to riot again, or encouraging anarchy and chaos on our streets, it seems as if the Democrats no longer view the government's job as protecting honest citizens from criminals, but rather protecting criminals from honest citizens. Not a single person in the out-of-control mob you saw at our house was charged with a crime. But you know who was? We were. They've actually charged us with felonies for daring to defend our home.
They're not satisfied with spreading the chaos and violence into our communities. They want to abolish the suburbs altogether by ending single-family home zoning. This forest rezoning would bring crime, lawlessness, and low-quality apartments into now thriving suburban neighborhoods. President Trump smartly ended this government overreach, but Joe Biden wants to bring it back. These are the policies that are coming to a neighborhood near you. So make no mistake, no matter where you live, your family will not be safe in the radical Democrats' America.
At this moment in history, if you stand up for yourself and for the values our country was founded on, the mob, spurred on by their allies in the media, will try to destroy you. You've seen us on your TV screens and Twitter feeds. You know that we're not the kind of people who back down. Thankfully, neither is Donald Trump. President Trump will defend the God-given right of every American to protect their homes and their families.
Big stuff coming. As a realtor, I'm not allowed to tell you where you shouldn't want to be. You have to do that on your own. So I recommend that if you are moving to a city like I am, that you've never been, and crime is important to you, look up crime maps. Here's a good site, crimegrade.org. You can specify it down to local districts. So I've been looking at Grand Rapids, Michigan, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, sort of Madison, sort of Duluth, not really so much, but most in particularly, I really like the idea of Minneapolis. It's the same size city as Albuquerque, but there's not going to be civil war there in 5 to 15 years. This is Illinois. Really, yeah, cool house. Mid-century ranch-style house. I love the big Texas star. That's fun. Huge lot. Wow, double-sided fireplace. No, three-sided. Huge pool. Obviously needs some work. This is like a rumpus room, I guess, but it's like on a lake. Maybe it's a river, but I think it's a lake. Oh, it's a river. Rock River. Cool. And it's $285,000. You know, big thing to remember about Illinois, their property taxes are about double. If you're paying $285 and you're doing what I'm doing, you're getting a zero money down loan with $0 in private mortgage insurance, conventional loan. Again, I'm a realtor, so I know these things. Oh God, I mean, this one is actually pretty worth considering, isn't it? How far away is it? I didn't realize it was such a big river. See, there's actually quite a few good options. And I was told by a realtor I was speaking with 2 days ago, like the guy was laughing at me. He's like, he said, it sounds, based on the questions you're asking me, I can't tell if you're fucking with me or not. In Michigan, you could basically live anywhere. You put a stick down and probably water will come up. Yeah, that's pretty far away. I was looking at a really cool place that was over here by Aurora in the suburbs, but it's a bit outside my budget. Yeah, so the thing about property taxes, when you're paying double, so most, like my property taxes here, I gotta ask my wife, but I think it's about $4,000. And we have tiny property. It's like, we're a townhouse, so it's like 0.08. And we have one of the bigger lots, 0.4 acres, 3/4 of an acre, something like that. Property taxes, let's check them out. Estimated payment, okay, so that's wrong. Tax amount, that's not even that bad. I mean, that's a big property. My mortgage payments on property this size is probably gonna be about $2,400. So $6,000 a year, $6,300. What was it? $6,400 makes my total payments around $3,000. You heard of this place? Where fucking Notre Dame is, but not care less about football than I do. I never even saw that movie with Sean Astin. So, For the Love of the Game, is that the one? Also, Pete Buttigieg, this is his town. That's where he was a mayor. It's 100,000 people. It's a small town, but it seems cool. Just on the other side of the border of Michigan. Otherwise, I probably would have not found it, you know, because I wasn't looking. It was just a fluke that it showed up, you know, because it's on the other side of the border, and I wasn't even thinking about Indiana. Look at this little craftsman house. It's cool. It's quite cute. Look at that. It's got a fire pit in the front yard. I don't know about that, but, you know, whatever. I guess the neighbors are cool. They're probably not, though. I mean, like, it's next to a town called Dunlap, so I have a feeling that's, like, where the tires come from. Hey, look at this cool swing that you can get old drinking Arnold Palmer's on. Like a reclaimed wood industrial look that they went for here. Decent aesthetic. Not bad, actually. I think that's real wood. I hope it is. Oh, it's probably laminate. Shit. Yeah, it looks like it might be laminate. No, that would be so great if it's wood. Yeah, it's cute. It's kind of cabiny. I like the big fireplace. Big kitchen with butcher block. You know, decent appliances. Not bad. It seems big, too. Doesn't it seem big? You could probably put an island in there. I like some of this furniture, too. Mid-century modern furniture. I don't know what's going on here. Why do they have the dishwasher behind a curtain? Are they trying to say that it's an ugly dishwasher? Or is there like a creature gonna come out of there? This is a little frightening, but it's in a nice wood frame. So I'm gonna allow it. And this carpet is like a heavy-duty carpet. I actually like this type of carpet. It's probably because they had dogs. And they built this bed, and I kind of think it's quite cool. Back with this whole reclaimed theme. Linoleum countertops. It's probably like an 80s house. I think I would work this swing into the deal. And there's a little cubby hole for the little kid. These are big rooms. Every room is huge. There's so many beds, so many places. Yeah, there was a dog here for sure. I mean, just look at the scratches on the floor and the staircase here. There was definitely a dog. It's cool. I think it just adds to the character of the house. This must be downstairs. I guess this is what they're using as a master. I'm not sure that really works for me as master, but okay. Boom! Look at that! Unfortunately, it's a deck. I like it. I like decks, and decks should be decks, but this is really nice for a screened-in porch, and it's really beautiful. I mean, they did a wonderful job on it. Vaulted ceiling with, you know, cathedral windows. It's really nice. I mean, and these doors do open up, and look at that view of just a lush, dense forest in your backyard. And it's carpeted. They have it for the kids. A cute backyard. Here is the pièce de résistance. It's got a fucking river in the backyard. You can do your running in the front yard. You go run around the block, or you can do your kayaking in the backyard. That's your exercise. Is that cool or what? Man, you got your own river. $319,500. 4 bedrooms. 4 bathrooms. It's a 3.5, so there's a 2-piece, and it's 4,000 square feet. I could get 3 roommates, probably not even pay anything in my mortgage. In Indiana, taxes are quite cheap, especially compared to Illinois. I don't know what it is about Illinois, but taxes are crazy high there. What the fuck? This is cheaper than my house, and there's 4 times as much acreage. So it means, like, basically I can offer more money to get the house if I really want it. Look, 1986, close to a half acre. All right, so this is technically in Elkhart. And in fact, that's the Elkhart River. The university is around here. Elkhart's there. Dunlap is between Midway, I think. Yeah, so I guess there's that. I wonder if it smells like tire. That could be a problem. But yeah, it's here in this nice green area. Actually, this is a little greener, but that's quite green. Okay, that's quite green. That's good, and it's on this friggin' river. I would love that. I would love that personally. Schools is something you want to consider because maybe you want to use this as a property you just live in while we fix the planet, and then once you're done, you can either sell the house or you can rent it, and then maybe if the fucking worst case scenario, end of the world, doesn't happen, oh, thank God, we didn't all die from Civil War. My house on the Great Lakes didn't appreciate 8 times over the course of 10 years. Woe is me, the end of the world didn't happen. But you still got this house, you know? It's not invaluable. It has an intrinsic value and even if the fucking house burns down, guess what? You got land to sell. Land on a river, water rights, or you can live in it, whatever. You still got this property that's been appreciating. At least your money's not being lost to inflation. God forbid you put any money in the stock market like I did. Rivian! Nearby schools. This is what I've been getting to. So this is a green area, right? Green area as far as crime is concerned. Now, I got nothing against areas with high crime. They tend to be a lot more fun to live in, honestly. I mean that genuinely. There's places to walk. That's huge for me. I'm also a nearly 40-year-old dad, and I want to have a cool deck. And I spend a lot more time at home. I'm not going out at night. So you want to think about this in terms of rental potential. If you're renting to a family, families are going to be thinking about what school districts they want to be in. And so it's very important to get a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom at minimum. This one's got 4.4. This thing is fucking gold mine at this price. People are going to be looking at schools. They're moving based on school districts. We're in green. And 6 ain't great, but it's good for the area, sadly. That was not the first house that I saw in Indiana. That was the second house I saw that I liked. First house that I saw was this one over here, which is actually in town, in South Bend. Which, look up some photos. It's a really cool looking city. I mean, and they had a gay mayor. That's pretty cool. There's obviously going to be some dope shit to do around there, especially because Notre Dame's there. So there's going to be some great Irish pubs. They're all going to be talking about football. Whatever, I don't care. I mean, if everyone's drinking Guinness, then I don't give a shit. This house, it's got a 3-car garage. 2,980 square feet. $329,900. It's 18 years old. I don't like aluminum siding, but bad weather out there, so it's probably better, I guess. And this deck. This is a dream deck. This is a deck that I want in my future. Check that out. It looks like a Craftsman you just saw on HGTV after a nice flip. It's got some nice window lights. These are called lights on the side. I don't know why they're called lights, but they're called lights. It's very confusing. It's really great taste that these people have. I think this is tile, which is good. Tile is good. Very durable. Disguised to look like hardwood. Nice. That's an automatic gas fireplace. This is not the real fireplace. I guarantee you that's a fake fire. That's a fake photo fire that they added later. And look, there's a picture of the house on the TV. So yeah, I don't think that they have a channel that runs pictures of their own house. Basically, these are realtor tricks, and they're quite cheesy, to be honest with you. And I really like this table. I really am impressed by the taste in this house. These are floor tiles, so very cheap renovation was done here. But look, they have nice appliances. There's that's a coffee station. I didn't notice that before. There's dogs. I mean, really all you need here, you can keep these cabinets. I mean, the house is 18 years old. Paint the cabinets. New black stainless steel. All 4-piece GE. Slap on a new countertop. You are rocking in this house. You got this peninsula instead of an island, which is fine. Huge rooms. Again, nice vanity here. I like the mirror. I'm just shocked at the taste. These are cheap laminate floors, by the way. They sometimes buckle at the seam. That happens with cheap laminate. Recessed lighting throughout. This is the fucking basement. It's huge. There's windows everywhere. It's bright. And this one has its own private lake. It's got a 2-acre property. It's the biggest property in the neighborhood. They did cypress between the two houses to give them some privacy. Oh, and there's the drone pilot. That's him for sure. And these things, these barns, these old sheds, you can turn those into a sauna super duper easily. That would be awesome. That would be super cool. A 2-acre property, you got the place for your kid to play. Oh my god, throw frisbee. I could start a whole commune on property like that. There's no HOA. You own a piece of a lake. It's a little lake, but, look at this deck, man. There's the view. Big sky. Flatlands out there. I understand. I'm really not familiar with the Midwest, but that's what bravery is. Venturing out into the unknown. Like, killer sauna. You have 20 people in there. So I guess this house doesn't get any of that lake? No, it must get this part, I bet. Where's lot lines? Yeah, it does. Okay, it goes that way. So that lake is shared by 4 properties. We are in South Bend. It's a suburb, see? You're just outside of the city limits. There's like a Trader Joe's, like I can't remember, like right over here too. So it's not like, they're not like bumfuck middle of nowhere. Oh, there's my frog. Say hi to the frog. Hey, Sticky. Hey, buddy. You wanna come say hi? I saw a mouse yesterday. But I raised that frog from tadpole. There were 3 of them. Only one survived. That other house that I was looking at, that's over here. Just to get to that Trader Joe's, for example, from that other house, is a 29-minute drive. Tiny bit outside town. But look what you get. And this is a state that, needs you. At first I was laughing. I laughed when I first saw this. I really, really laughed out loud. But over the last day, because I filmed this yesterday, I've been lamenting over it, and it's quite scary. It stopped being funny to me. I've never seen anything like this. And they say that Albuquerque schools are bad, by the way. Okay? Okay, it's still a little funny, but this is almost like I gotta write to Zillow and say, are you sure this isn't a mistake? 3 1s? How is it possible that all 3 of your schools got the lowest possible rating? And it's South Bend, Indiana, where Pete Buttigieg was the mayor. Granted, this is just outside city limits, so there's a good chance they don't actually even get to vote for mayor. But still, here's the point, guys. Optum, and this is the reason why I don't think that it's the right move for me to go to Indiana. Because if we get the bare minimum of 500,000 people, we need to be very strategic about where we put people. And Indiana is very red. So it's important that Democrats go there. There's gradients of red and gradients of blue. New York's obviously deep blue. California's deep blue. Minnesota's quite blue. Michigan's quite blue. Wisconsin is could use some more blue. This is a good map. So here are the 5 states. 5 states we need to relocate 500,000 Democrats to. Starting with the most fun. Alaska. Looks like it's a huge spread, right? 53% to 43%. Look at the population. 37,000 people to take over the state. What's the senator's name? It's not Suzanne Collins. She's Maine. But it's the other one. She's like a reasonable senator. However, she's not a Democrat, and she doesn't vote with Democrats. She didn't vote for the Inflation Reduction Act. Please don't call that the IRA. That is a terrible acronym. Just ask Michael Collins. Yeah, she didn't vote for the IRA. North Dakota. Look at the population differences. The entire state is... Hey, Sticky, I'm talking. Do you mind if I finish before you start croaking? The entire state, 339,000 people. Is that what I'm looking at? 2/3 are Republican, but you only need about 110,000 people. Really? 120? You don't think New York can spare 120,000 Democrats? The average rent in New York is like $4,500 for a studio. You don't think they'd like to have, a big-ass 2-acre property? You can have an ATV. Be like Cowboy, City Slicker. Like Billy Crystal on your horse. Daniel Stern, John Lovitz, Bruno Kirby. South Dakota, number 3. Once again, 111,000 people. That's the spread. They got 2/3. 2/3. Goddamn near close to 2/3. Wow, this one's actually, they got more than 2/3 actually. So North Dakota, South Dakota, Iowa, number 4, 140,000, fairly large state. And you're gonna have good water resource while you're there. Yes, Sticky, I know. I know you wanna participate. He wants to save the world. He's a good frog. I really like Sticky. I've never gotten super close to him, but we've had a lot of talks. Last but not least. Okay, number 5. Where is it gonna be? Number 5. Johnny 5 is alive in Wyoming. 120,000 people. I've never been there, but it's at the top of the Colorado River, so it's also got great resources, and it's where Yellowstone is. It's like probably the most beautiful state in the country. I mean, wouldn't you want to live there? Imagine like looking up at the stars in a place that only has 266,000 voters in it. It would just be amazing. And places are cheap there. So that's how we do it. 5 states, 500,000 people, improving our lives as we're doing it. If you're working right now, you can qualify for a loan because a realtor is leading this. I can guide you. In my case, I'm getting a 0% down conventional loan backed by the government. Fixed 30-year mortgage. It's gonna be about 6% probably, but in the 80s it was like 21%. Give me a break. I mean, I'm gonna be paying $2,500 for a 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom house with a fucking river in the back near a nice city where people aren't stuck up Kardashian nonsense. You could show these Republicans too that like we're not all bad people. Make friends. I'll bet they like more about you than you think, more than they think. And it's not just Wyoming either that we can take over if we have more people. Look at this, Nebraska. That's number 6. That's 184,000 people. Something like that. Kansas is 201,000. Oklahoma, holy shit, huge spread there. Just forget about that. Waste of time. You may as well put these people in Texas, honestly, if that's where we're going. But it doesn't matter. We only need 5 more states. 5 more states, we get 10 senators. And with 60 votes in the Senate, 60 senators, you can add more senators. You can make Puerto Rico a state. You can make Washington, D.C. a state. You can impeach justices. You can rewrite the rules about campaign finance. You can abolish the Senate. Have only the Congress of the legislative branch. Have this be a real representative democracy.
The Electoral College was set up to
give slave states much more power. The population of Wyoming, I think it's 500,000. Oh, 581,000. The state of Wyoming is larger than the city of Albuquerque in terms of population by 20,000 people. And look, it's the same size. It's almost as big as New Mexico. Albuquerque is a little town here. The entire state has as many people as one city. There's 2 million people in our state. So we have four times the people as Wyoming. And Wyoming gets 2 senators when California has 40 million people in it. Look just how many voters there are. 17 million voters. So 2 senators in California represent 20 times as many people? How is that democracy? This is a rigged game. We need to fix it, and we can't wait any longer. Granted, I've been happy about Biden's performance in the last 2 speeches. I really have. And I always give credit. I even gave credit the 3 times that Trump didn't fuck up. Go back. Most of my posts on Facebook are public. You can go back and read them. I always gave Trump credit when deserved. And I'm giving Biden credit now because Biden is acting like a real president. I'm more optimistic than I was 3 months ago, let's say. We need to start to fight dirty. We need to get real. We need to act like a militia in order to save this country. These people vilify educators. They vilify thought. This house is in a district over by the airport. It was like over here, okay? So it's in a green area. It's in a good area. And the education, down the board. And you want me to pretend that there isn't a correlation between this and that? 500,000 more people voting for a fascist? There's no nice way to put it. They have bad education. Bad education leads to voting against your interests. It leads to voting for Republicans. I'm not trying to make fun of these people, but I mean, there's obviously a very direct correlation between being educated, not being educated, and how you vote. The majority of the educated are voting for Democrats. This doesn't mean that they're stupid. It means that they have bad education. We should feel bad about that. We should empathize with them. They didn't choose to have bad education. Can you imagine having to go to a school from like pre-K to fucking 12th grade in a one district? Why even go? Just fucking stay and work on your farm. You'll probably learn a shit ton more. There's only one way to beat this, and it's to take force. We need to act like they act. We need to be organized. So that's what I wanted to show you today. Let me bring it on back. Hi, I'm just rapping with you now. No more maps. I understand why you're scared, and I know you feel hopeless. So do I. That's why I started Optum. And as you can see, it's doable. But you need to join me. You need to follow. You need to like this video. You need to share every video that I make. It's not to self-promote, but I do have a family to support. Don't kid yourself. I do need money. But I will die as a martyr if I need to. I'm not afraid of death. I'm already almost 40. I'm halfway through my life already. I think my grandfather was 83 when he died. In the last couple of years, he wasn't even lucid. The Alzheimer's kicked in, and that's probably what I've got coming. I want to die fighting for something. I want to die fighting for my daughter. What do you want? Who would you die for? We don't matter to this planet. We're all going to die, but we are a part of it. We are living in one of the 6th massive extinctions in Earth's 4.5 billion year history. Who was I talking to about the Earth being 6,000 years old? Yeah, so I befriended a evangelist, I mispronounced it. We can do it, but I need your support. to get the message out. And yes, full disclosure, I have a business. I intend to use it to support my movement. Full disclosure, it's called Jackrabbit Realty, and my goal is for my brokerage to become the first climate change refugee relocation real estate brokerage. That's my goal. I want my business to be first, and I hope other people follow my example. I encourage competition for sure. I'm not anti-capitalist, but I am a socialist. I am a socialist first and a libertarian second, but above all, my allegiance is to the protection of this planet so that my daughter and her children one day can have a future here. But I need your support. I can't do this on my own. Please join Optum. We have a Facebook page, a Facebook group. We're on Discord. I need someone to actually build my Discord site. I have 2 website addresses, a .com and a .org. I need a web developer. There's ways you can volunteer without paying. And if you can donate, please go to my Patreon. I have many options for different types of patrons. Go to Only the Planet Matters on Patreon. You can donate as little as $10. With your donation, a minimum of 10% will go to our NPO, which is not yet set up. The point of our organization will be to relocate those who cannot on their own. Those who take priority will be international climate refugees, to give them a good start, get them on their right foot. I'm not good with idioms. Facebook, Discord, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Patreon, and you can find me on OnlyFans. No one will have anything over me, ever. What I tell you will always be truth, because no one has a P-tape that I didn't sell.
The oil and gas industry is the most capitalized industry in the world. Simply put, that means that oil and gas is where the most money is. More money is concentrated in fossil fuels than in all of retail, or all of banking, or all of the tech sector. The total capitalization of the oil and gas industry is equivalent to $6.7 trillion. If we think of global capitalism as the arena where competition between industries happens, then this is a competition where fossil fuels have the best hand. Fossil fuels have the most money, and therefore the most power. In concrete terms, that means the oil and gas industry has the ability to prevent almost any sort of action that would hurt its interests. While we can theorize about green growth models and what happens if we transition to renewables at this or that rate, with this or that expected level of growth, the fossil fuel industry can prevent all of it from happening. It can sabotage like no other industry can. At the government level, fossil fuels have been lining the pockets of politicians for years, with prominent figures like Joe Manchin receiving millions of dollars from the coal industry to block the passage of even the most lukewarm anti-emission plans. In the media, fossil fuel companies have been discrediting climate change science for decades, with advertisements and fossil-friendly journalists obscuring the evidence or trying to spin attention away, like in this horrifying clip from this summer.
On a serious note, folks, by early next week, you can scrap 20 degrees, it could well be 40 degrees. I think there will be hundreds, if not thousands, of excess deaths early next week. The charts that I can see in front of me are frightening. So we all like nice weather, but this will not be nice weather. This will be potentially lethal weather for a couple of days. It'll be brief, but it'll be brutal.
Oh,
so,
John,
you know, we can...
So, John, I want us to be happy about the weather, and every single... I don't know whether something's happened to meteorologists to make you all a little bit fatalistic and harbingers of doom. Because all of the broadcasts, particularly on the BBC, every time I've turned on anyone's talking about the weather, they're saying that there's going to be tons of fatalities. But haven't we always had hot weather?
More recently, fossil fuel companies have switched to presenting climate change as though it's a problem of individual consumption, rather than an economy-wide problem in the way we organize production. Fossil fuel companies have also worked for decades to bury renewable energy production and alternative ways to consume energy. They've tried to kill electric cars, an alternative that only ever offered a minuscule environmental benefit compared to gas-powered cars, but nonetheless threatens fossil fuels' commanding market share. Our entire social reproduction is happening under the ruling hand of fossil fuels. The way our society produces, consumes, and then justifies these practices in legal and cultural texts is heavily directed by fossil fuels and their interests. They decide what gets made, how it's advertised, how it's regulated, and at the end of the day, how we're meant to feel about it. Our transition to a sustainable economy will not happen with fossil fuel interests standing in the way. So long as they are committed to being the most powerful player in the global economy, whether that's a growing economy or not, they will prevent change from happening. And what's terrifying is that their power will likely only grow over time as fossil fuels become more scarce and we are still trapped on their sinking ship. While we've been told that the coming scarcity of oil will push us into renewable energy sooner, scarcity is the name of the capitalist game. You can't make money when something's abundant. It's when it's scarce that the big bucks come in. The more our global oil reserves slowly dwindle, or the more we place restrictions on how much we allow to be extracted without directly controlling prices, the more valuable that oil becomes, and the more profits can be extracted from its sale. Look no further than what is happening right now. 2022 has been a year of record profits for oil and gas companies. To take a specific example, one French fossil fuel company, Total Energy, saw bigger earnings this year than any other company has in the entire history of the French economy. What all this means is that a small handful of people, led by the sole motivation to deliver greater profits than their competitors year after year, are making decisions that benefit their interests over those of the rest of humanity. They are fiercely clinging to their profits at the expense of our collective survival. The solution is obvious. We need an economic model that is democratic, that takes power away from the unaccountable few and returns it to the many. People are ready for change, and they're ready to make difficult decisions. Capitalists aren't. What's it going to be? A brutal, dystopian, unlivable future for the majority of humanity, all so a few executives can keep their profits, or a brighter, fairer, sustainable future for us and for our children? A world where human flourishing matters more than the blood-soaked dollars in corporate bank accounts. Let's decide for ourselves, or we might lose the chance.